Here we are at the beginning of the 21st century when, globally we have climate and ecological emergencies, and the general trend is not good. The general trend here is very good. And being here where we can watch a system recover and become better every single day is a fabulous thing in this moment of time, I think.
The Gila River is the last and largest free-flowing river in New Mexico. People have been pulling water out of rivers for hundreds of years and dramatically altered them in most places. It's really hard to find a river like the Gila. Talking with people who visit here, they're just overwhelmed by how wild it feels to them. That wildness comes from the wild nature of the flows that come down out of the mountains and through this valley.
A river comes out of a mountainous canyon, it spills out into a much wider valley, it drops sediment, it drops seeds, and it brings water. And the consequence is this extraordinary diversity of different habitats that are just magnets for wildlife. It's like the Wizard of Oz paid us a visit or something. It's an extraordinary place.
This has just been flooded, so it's so cool to see all the signature of the animals that are walking through here right now. We're some of the first humans to be walking here. There's a lot of tracks, there's deer tracks, and here's some nice lion prints. Oh, look, Quaddy, get your camera on that. Oh, that's awesome. The system is providing both food and shelter for creatures like the quaddy we just saw moving up and down the river. We have a lot of agricultural development on either side of the river corridor, and so the corridor itself is a really important area for lots of things.
Save our Gila! No dam diversion! Save our Gila!
In 2004, there was a big proposed diversion on the Gila River that would have fundamentally changed this river and this valley.
The threat was to take a lot of the water that was diverted out of the valley and send it to municipalities elsewhere. So this idea that suddenly we would have this huge imprint of solid infrastructure to divert flows out of the valley seemed like very, very bad news. The approach that was taken on the part of the Nature Conservancy was, let's build the scientific case for what the results will be. And I feel like that's what we did.
The Gila is very special, for me as a fish biologist, because we've got lots of native species that are endemic to this river and are found nowhere else in the world. This river moves a lot, and that's really good for the fish. When it moves, it's freshening up the rocks and gravel on the bottom of the stream, which the fish need, for both growing insects to eat and then their habitat that they need for spawning and living. We come out and use lots of different methods, monitoring the fish throughout time. We can learn a lot about how those fish respond to the different flow events and disturbance events. We just have to keep presenting, how valuable this resource is and why it's special.
We felt strongly that we needed to protect this river from more diversion. There is so much at stake, not for us so much, but for the wildlife and the place. And so it seemed incredibly important to us to understand what the impacts would be and advocate for avoiding those impacts. Ultimately, we succeeded in stopping this project. People work so hard to stop dams on rivers or logging, and so many times we lose. But in this case, we actually succeeded in protecting this place. And now it persists.
Introducing people to what a wondrous place this is is the means to protecting this river. I have faith that if people really get to know this place, they won't want it gone. They will recognize this is precious enough to hang on to.
We have a climate crisis, which is at an emergency level, and we have an ecological crisis that is just, if not more, daunting than the climate crisis itself. What we need to do is allow this river to be wild and free, not for our, spiritual enlightenment, which is not enough by itself. We need to do it for the preservation of life on this planet. Not only our own lives, but the lives of all these other species that we care so much about.